Update 1 on newly formed tropical storm Fitow, currently located in between the Philippines and the Mariana Islands, currently in the western Pacific, out in the open ocean at the moment. Currently with winds of 40 miles per hour, pressure of 996 millibars, current position is 13.8 degrees north, 132.2 degrees east. Expected to move towards the north over the next few days, intensifying gradually along the way, becoming a typhoon in the next 36 to 48 hours, and then possibly intensifying to Category 2, maybe Category 3 intensity as it moves towards the north, threatening the Japanese islands, the Fitow Islands first of all, and then towards Okinawa and perhaps the Amami Islands as well. Models are a little bit split now on what they're saying on where the storm will go beyond 4 or 5 days time, but at the moment it appears it will either be Japan or further south, perhaps towards Taiwan. We'll look at that in a moment. But probability percentages of tropical storm conditions in the next 96 hours, that's 4 days time, 60% on Fitow Islands, but beyond that, 5 days onwards, the other Japanese islands should definitely be watching out for this storm. So the current sea surface temperatures where the storm is located at the moment are fairly warm, around 28-29 degrees Celsius, certainly enough to sustain a tropical cyclone, and certainly looking conducive for development down the line over the next few days as it moves towards the north. So the models right now, the CMC has certainly changed its tune over earlier today, moving it towards the west eventually, towards the Miyako and Yayama Islands in Japan, and then eventually Taiwan, and then into the South China Sea with another stronger storm forming out towards its east in the open Pacific. The GFS model staying true to what it said earlier today, moving into Kyushu Island in Japan, and then eventually brushing South Korea, probably making landfall there as well, before turning extratropical near the coast of Russia. That's in the next few days. Other storms forming as well, noted on the GFS forecast model there. So the latest satellite imagery, you can see how the storm's wrapped itself around over the past few hours, looking a little bit disorganised at the moment, but certainly not looking too bad. You can certainly see how the rumblings of something strong that could form in the next few days. Dry air off towards the northwest, but not really affecting the storm at the moment, particularly towards the centre of the storm at least. Certainly shouldn't be too much of an issue, at least for the next day or two. But as the storm moves towards the north, we should see some intensification into a typhoon eventually. We could see some more rapid strengthening perhaps. It is the western Pacific, of course. We could be seeing quite a strong storm if conditions all go its way over the next few days. Certainly one to watch for, in particular, the Japanese islands right now, but the wider Pacific as well. Should be at least monitoring the progress of this storm. So the world tropics right now, we currently have an invest in the Atlantic 97L, which is south of Jamaica. We also have Tropical Storm Jerry, of course, which formed earlier today. An update on that coming up very shortly. Wu-tip made landfall in Vietnam earlier today now, tropical storm near the border with Vietnam and Laos, and we also have the two other systems, Sepat, which has formed not too far from the Japanese Ogasawara Islands, and of course the new storm Fitow, which has just formed in the past few hours, into a tropical storm just now as well. As it moves towards the north, we should see some more intensification. So this is the 18th tropical storm, 7 typhoons so far. This looks likely to be the 8th, and 3 of which reached Category 3 intensity this year so far, 2013, the 66th busiest season on record so far, but that's not really saying much because it's the 5th least busiest at the moment, but there are still a few months left until the end of the season, so I think we'll see that number rise quite a little bit more yet before the end of the season. And don't forget to visit the website, that's where we'll have all the latest updates on each storm in between all these videos, especially now that there are a few storms out there. We'll be doing videos on each individual storm at a time, but for the latest info on which particular storm you're interested in, just visit the website. The main page is force13.com/stormtracking.html. That's the main page for all the current storms out there, including invests and post-tropical storms as well, with tables at the top and bottom showing their intensities and indeed any warnings that are currently in effect. No warnings just yet on this system. None in the Philippines, even though it is in their area of responsibility as well. But as it moves towards the north, we should see some gale advisories going into effect for Japan over the next few days, especially as we get a better handle of where the storm's expected to go. You can also find us elsewhere on the web, Facebook and Twitter, to search Force13. On either of those, you should find us fairly easily enough. And as always, please do show your support by doing the usual means of engagement, by liking, subscribing, commenting, favoriting, or indeed anything else that you can think of. And if you have any questions or comments on the current storm, or indeed any others out there, just send a comment through YouTube, or indeed by private message if you so wish, and I'll get onto it to answer it over the next few hours or days as it may be. The video schedule for the next few days, and video update 1 on Jerry coming not too long from now, about an hour's time. Video update 2 on Sepat will follow at 2:30 PM UTC tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday. Video update 2 on this storm Fitow as well at 3:30 PM and video update 2 on Tropical Storm Jerry at 9:30 PM on Tuesday evening at UTC. But until then, that's all for now.